Make sure I remember to unmute myself this time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is Ashley. I work for NVIDIA. I'm a connection evangelist for Omniverse Exchange. And since October of last year, I have been doing this Learn With Me stream. Only recently have I moved over to the official NVIDIA Omniverse channels. And since January, I've been working on a scene, creating a game development workflow. I was exploring the Unreal connector at first. I've kind of abandoned that for now. I moved into Isaac Sim, where I was creating conveyor belts. And since then, I have been kind of creating different camera constraints and viewport UI using ActionGraph. So we're going to continue in that today. And also, I'm moving on to create 22.3.1 just because it is the latest version of Kit right now. And I want to make sure we're using all of that for ActionGraph. I kind of didn't realize that Isaac Sim is still in Create or Kit 2.0. So I wanted to make sure that we're using everything that's up to date. And since I don't need the conveyor belts anymore, I can move into Create. So that's where we're at. Let's get some music playing in the background. Cool. All right. So last stream, I created this viewport UI where it says press play and instructions. And then I was working on a button, and I got all of that from this sample here, which you can find in the samples tab. And then you go to visual scripting. There's 4 different visual scripting samples. And this one is the light bulb one. When you press play, these viewport UI widgets pop up where you can toggle the color and the light. You can also do that by just clicking in the viewport. And so I was recreating that. I just wanted to do a review of it. And let's, for one, center our camera a little bit better. Oh, before I do that, for one, look how massive my cameras have become in the scene. I don't know why. Like, that is so comical. What in the world? I don't know how that happened. And every time I save the scene, it seems to be happening. I don't know why. So I'm just going to not show the cameras because it's weird. Oops. And I also wanted to kind of do an update on the third-person camera constraint. It has been a journey trying to get this to work. So I talk a lot about watching Dave Tyner's live streams that he does on Fridays. I think he's taking a little bit of a break to prepare for a GTC, but in the one that I saw, I think 2 weeks ago, he had a camera constraint that that someone named Alberto had created, and it's a really nice camera constraint. And basically what it does is, like, say you have like a car and the car like zooms across the screen. And so the car is like up close in view. And then as the car moves further down the scene, the camera kind of stays in one. It's like, it looks like it's like moving away, like backward. And while that's great for a car moving along a road, it's not super great for trying to follow along a character in this little warehouse. And I've been trying to correct that. There's been just a lot of things with the way that the rotation follows this constraint. Let's open up the graph and take a look. Let's do my nice, awesome visual scripting layout that I love so much. Oops, I don't have it in quick load, the layout. Where is my layouts? Did you know there's an AECO connector for this demo to connect a real world RGB light? I did not know that. Is that from Eric's stuff? Open up my graph. Yeah, look at this graph. It's insane. So I did this 2 streams ago, I think. And as I was learning, I explained it. And basically what it's doing is it's grabbing the capsule, which is parented under a center X form, breaking it up into a vector 3. It is adding small increments to Y and not X or not Z, just Y, and then making that into a new vector. This vector plus the translation property of the camera and a small increment to the up vector creates a whole new matrix. It's going to grab the rotation of that matrix. It's going to times it by -1 because it outputs a negative result. When you press play, it would output negative. So we want to turn that into positive. So we'll times it by another negative. Then I was messing with a bunch of stuff over here, trying to create like a constant point, which, complete garbage, and I'm gonna get rid of all of that. And then that is going to create a new value for the camera's rotation. So as the capsule moves, the camera will rotate around it, adding that distance in increments over time. That is not what we want to do. So I have removed all of those increments. And so now it'll just be grabbing the regular translation of the capsule and not adding any distance to it. And then I was trying to create a constant point so that the camera would continue to look at the capsule and not fly off screen. Now, this hasn't been working very well, and Eric Kraft, you may also know him as Meat Hunter on Discord, he's been trying to help me figure out the issues with it. The rotation kind of like, for him, results in a nan, which is not a number, and that means it's just like going berserk in the scene. So he was saying to parent the camera to the capsule and then just manually do a position offset. And I don't want to spend today's stream focusing on that because I think I'm going to dedicate like a whole stream to like fixing this camera once I figure it out. I don't have a lot of time today because there is a stream in about 45 minutes or so, and I need to get off before they get on, and I do want to do that button review as well. So yeah, maybe parenting the camera to the capsule and then doing that position offset will be the solution. I've played around with it like a tiny bit, and it does, parenting it to the capsule does create like a constant point. So if you remember from a few streams back, I have created a constant point action graph for like cube camera, and it would act the same way as like a constraint, but in parenting. So if you have like a constraint, it's always looking at that one part of the cube, no matter if it rotates or not. Like it's going to be on that X or on that X, Y, and Z translation. Whereas like parenting it, it's always going to follow it along. And I think it would also follow along its rotation. If that's the easiest way to make a third person for now, then we'll do it. But that's in the works. We'll see. Let's go ahead and review the button so that if you missed it, because I did it like at the very end of the stream, like I finally figured out the very end of the stream last time. Oh, look, Eric was able to make it. Hey, Eric. The Eric I was just talking about. And yeah, so let's do a review of the button while we have time. Where did I put that button? I put that button in a action graph called Viewport UI, Open Graph. I tried to organize it so that when I upload this to GitHub as a sample, y'all can see what I've done. And I've named it I'm a Button. I like disabled it for now because it messes with these buttons up here. But let's do a review of what I've made. And I basically just recreated exactly what's happening in this sample. And it took me a little bit to figure out like what my issues were because I wasn't connecting everything properly. So you need to have a stage event and tell the stage event what to listen for. And I have that as start play, OmniGraph start play. And when it starts play, boop, it is going to go into scripted mode and make sure that this is in scripted. Before I had the default plugged in, and that was an issue. Then it's going to plug into the placer. The placer must have a widget path into the parent widget path. It's getting the parent widget path from this set viewport mode. So you must connect this here. And that's going to happen for each of these all the way to the button. So you have the placer, you have a stack. So the placer is going to tell its position. The stack is going to tell the direction that it's sitting in, X, Y, or Z. So top to bottom, back to front, whatever, all that good stuff. And then you have your button, and your button is what you're going to see on your screen. Right, so you have this called I'm a button. So I have my text. You can add style to it, which acts in the same way as a cascading style sheet that you would use in HTML. And then you can give it a widget identifier, which is just like customizer. So this is like a button with a accidental capital U. Yeah, so that is what we did at the very end of the last stream. Woo. What I noticed though, when I got off stream and I was like playing with it on my own later on, especially to make, you know, this UI backdrop or this OG backdrop, is that when you have a button widget on the screen, it disables all of these budget widgets. And that is also the same for the sample. So you see, like, I'm clicking these. I cannot change my camera. I cannot change my rendering style because these buttons become a priority. I don't know why, and that sucks. I want to be able to change things, so I'm hoping to see if we can figure that out. Regarding camera size, under Gizmo, you can change the scale. Oh, yes, I know. But I don't know why it's automatically setting the scale so big, because I never set the scale. Like, and I changed the scale of those cameras. So let's pause it. Like, go back to, like, these. FX is talking about why my cameras are so massive. I did not change the scale of these cameras. For some reason, it set the scale to be giant, and then I changed it back, or not even back. I just made it smaller. And then when I saved the scene and then came back into it, they're massive again. So I don't know what's going on. So I'm just hiding them. It's so weird. And Papa Chuck asked a good question. Is there a GitHub where we can get the USD? Not quite yet. Would you guys rather me like update the GitHub as like every stream, so you guys can get like the latest and play with it on your own? And because I was thinking maybe I would just add it to a GitHub when it's all completed and you have a final sample. But if you guys want kind of like a work in progress as I move along with it, I can do that for you, and I'll add it to my GitHub. Not the NVIDIA Omniverse one, it would be mine. Let me know what y'all think and we can do that. Papa Chuck says yes, so we can follow along. Okay, I'll make that my goal for today, like a work in progress branch. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. And will the button overlay be on top of the root menu? If you go to File, Create, Window, Layout, Tools. File, Create, Layout, Tools. Like these? I'm imagining, the way that I'm imagining this working is that the stack is affecting it. So right now I have the stack as top to bottom. And I wonder if changing this will allow me to be able to grab these again. So let's see. Does it disable normal menus? Oh. No, I can touch these and stuff, but I can't touch these. It's the viewport buttons I can't mess with anymore. So let's do back to front and see if that changes it. Nope, I still cannot. Maybe front to back? No, is that how I had it before? Maybe, no, I had top to bottom before. Front to back. No, so it doesn't seem to be the placer. I don't know what IIRC means, but when you have UI, it'll block the other UI. You need to find that reference. Yeah, I just don't know where I would find that reference. I thought it would be in the stack, but it's not. And then theirs does the same thing. So even if I was to look at this action graph, if I remember correctly, oh, IIRC means if I remember correctly. So yeah, let's look at their placer. Theirs is top to bottom, but yeah, theirs blocks it too. And I don't know. Position for the placer, where to position the child widget within the placer. And so like there's like a invisible placer on the viewport. What's their position? 20x, 40y. It's still, what changes this? How does this change again? Oh, just moves it like on the screen. It places it on the viewport. Can I update that in real time? I feel like I could before. All right, well, I think I'm blocked on that for now. And then I wanted to spend some time. I only have like 20 minutes, not 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So I wanted to spend some time trying to see how to connect the widget to a function. So they have two buttons for color toggle and light toggle. And then I wanted to see like, how did they make this do something? So if you have a button, what happens when the button is clicked? Like, where is that function called? That I don't see. The widget identifier, I feel like is you can just like type it in. So I don't think that's we have light on, so it's probably called wherever this is, which is here. And they got some crazy graphing going on here. They've created, so this bool becomes a double, and then they multiply this variable, a constant double. So it's a boolean, and it is default value is off. And then they add, or they multiply 50. So the product is, yeah, it's 0. And it's making a vector. The product becomes the y in this vector. And they also are making a float. They have this at a, what is that? Like, how many zeros is that? 1, 2, 3, 10,000. Oh, yes. Thank you, Zia. I'm going to put that in the all chat so people on YouTube can also grab that link. Yeah, if you guys want to get started in ActionGraph, this is how I got my start. There's like 2 or 3 different tutorials, and they're really great. It doesn't teach you any of this stuff, though. So this is kind of just like having to play around and look at the samples to understand what's happening and basic programming, language, and math. Okay, so then they have on tick, switch speed, rotate to orientation. Oh, that's just like adjusting the actual button itself. What happens if you, so like if you light toggle on, it adds 1. So, you know, in a bool, 1 is on and 0 is off. So when you turn it on, now the output is 50, and for Y, 1,000 or 10,000 for the intensity of the bulb. But how is that called? That's what I don't understand. Oh, probably bulb light. So that it changes the intensity of the bulb light and the shader, the emissive intensity and the color. Okay. But how does the widget know that's happening? That's what I don't get. How does the widget know this is being toggled? The button is created here. If you go to the documentation and you go to button, does it tell you? See, widget identifier, an optional unique identifier can be used to refer to this widget in other places, such as on widget clicked node. Okay, where is that happening? On widget click node. Here. Okay, making progress, and then that decides the light on boolean. Okay, so on widget clicked, light on happens. When light on happens, this all happens. Boolean not. All right. Okay. I'm feeling much better about it. Let's create a new action graph. I don't want this to all happen in the same action graph. I want to be a little bit more organized. So this is our viewport. Maybe it does need to happen in the same action graph because we need to be able to connect them. So even though this is the viewport UI, it'll be like a viewport function or something, widget function. I'll have to change it later. So let's create, what do they connect the on widget clicked to? On picked, which is the left mouse click. So when the left mouse clicks, it activates light on. I guess that's when you click the actual thing. Okay, so we can just do on widget clicked and write to a bool. I'm mostly just like figuring out like how these buttons work. I don't imagine I'm going to really need a button later, but I'm sure it'll help me with being able to connect with viewport widgets to functions. I would imagine what I'm imagining for this in itself is that the capsule character is going to grab a box and place the box into a bin, and then a viewport widget is going to be able to register those boxes in the bin and like display that. So right now this is more about like practice. On widget clicked. So you're looking for a function widget and there should be a name on the function and the button called that function. Yep. Yep, I figured that part out. Which is just like navigating through. And then Zia has a good question. How might I save my own copy of this action script so I don't mess up the given sample? Yeah, you can create a new scene. When I put it in the GitHub and you save the USD, then you can just create a new scene. Should be easier. Okay, on which clicked, we need to create a bool. I'll just call it like a button test bool. Oopsies, I didn't even make that so big, but that's cool. New variable. And we'll call this like button test. Throw this out there. Hey, how did they make that right? Right graph variable. Right prim, right setting, right. How'd they get that variable? Right graph example, right prim. Nope. What is this called? Right underscore graph underscore variable 1. Is that like a custom? That's not a custom variable they made. Oh, duh. Wait. Delete. When I pull it out, I write to it. There we go. That's how I get that. And then that would be, is it going this one? Yeah. Right? Yes. And then the button test read would be connected to it. So now when we click it, we can see, should turn on. Oh no, because we didn't tell it what to do when it gets clicked. We didn't tell it that it needs to. Right? To double value. So we have to turn it into a double? Is that how we create the, nope, not that one. This one. That's how we give this a value? No. Maybe. Maybe I have to stop this and restart it. On widget clicked. Maddie's review of the samples where he talked about the UI blocking. Yeah, I think I remember that, where he did like an hour or two live stream about all those visual scripting samples, and he talked about it. I don't remember if he had a solution or he just showed it as like a issue. Okay, how do I make this how do I give it a value? So like this knows when I press light toggle to change the value to 1, like it turns it on and off. How do I get mine to do that? On which it clicked should turn the value to true. Mine doesn't do that. All right, Eric, thanks for helping out. Eric's had some really good feedback for me for my third-person camera constraint. What time is it? Cool, I got like 15 minutes. Hopefully I can figure out this value. I'm missing something. Do I have to give him the same widget identifier? No, this is, the button is light toggle, and this is light switch. And I think that's just the, no. Oh no, I think it has to be connected to, or is that like just like a unique one? It's not connected to anything called light switch, is it? If switch grip, switch on and off. Is it connected to this? No. Plug a constant into it. Is that what theirs is doing? So they have a constant double, but they just added 50 to it. Or not, they're multiplying 50 to it, but it already knows to turn it into 1 when it's clicked. So it should recognize that I'm clicking it and turning the value to true, you know, like this, where the check mark is on, which sets it to 1. And that happens when I click it, but I don't see where that's happening. Yeah, the bool value above turns the light on and off. Yes. I just don't see... Oh, this... Duh. Right, okay. Yeah, you're right. I need to... It needs to recognize if a bool is on or off. So, bool... Where's my bool? Oh, that was weird. Cool. So if you click this and press tab, it gives you like... Is that a different quick search? No? How did I get that weird quick search? Where'd that come from? That's strange. It was a bool. Was it a bool knot? Bool knot. Missing. That's all I was missing is this. So this plugs into here, and then that plugs into here. That's how it recognizes if the bool is on or off. So now, when I click it, maybe I have to restart the graph? No. Value in, value out. Its default value is off. The connector between light backdrop and light switch. Yeah, these two. What's different about theirs? So the light on is Boolean. It's plugged into Boolean not. So it should recognize that it's off, and then when clicked, it turns on. I'm gonna get rid of this double for now. No, sometimes this happens where like it like bugs out a little bit, and if I like restart the scene, sometimes things work that didn't work before. So let's just try that. Viewport UI. Okay, let's look at this. Press play. Button is on. I click it and the button, nothing happens. They have a widget identifier. There's like this little, a unique identifier identifying the widget. This should be specified in the UI creation nodes such as the button. So do I have to like this? No. Is that being connected to anything? No, theirs is not. Clicked. Type version 1, output 0. I don't know. I don't feel like the widget identifier is making a difference because I thought it said that's an optional thing. It's not changing the Boolean value. I'm definitely missing something. I just don't know what. Does this make a difference? It has to recognize when the left mouse button is clicked. I figured it would just recognize that it's clicked in general. I don't know. Let's try adding on picked and see if that makes a difference. Let's move all of these just over here. On picked. When picked. I wonder, let's see if this makes a difference. Watch this. Nope, did not make a difference. Oh, wait. Do you see like this kind of like, there's like a little check mark inside there? Value. Yeah, that would be like, no, theirs doesn't do that. For some reason, mine's recognizing there's like a check mark in the value out. And yours does not do that. Tracked prims. Yeah, I don't need this unpicked. Let me disconnect this. Reconnect it. And there's no check mark. There was before, there's not anymore. I'm just gonna stop and restart. There's no check mark. Click it. No check mark. Oh wait. There we go, it's working now. I don't know if y'all could see that. It's really, really, really small, like really grayed out, but it's, if you look at the output value when I press it, it does change it. So I don't know. I think it got stuck in something. Look, value in and value out are not checked. Let's look at this one. They should be the same. Mine doesn't do that. Why is it not Boolean? I'm using a Boolean not. Value in, if this is checked, then this should have an output value of true as well. I'm just gonna disconnect this one. Maybe that's a problem. Okay, let's see. For some reason, it's recognizing that it's on and doesn't allow me to turn it off. It's still saying it's on. That's weird. Okay. I'll just like disconnect it again. Okay, they're blank again. There's no check marks. Press play. Press the button. No check mark pops up. Why did it work before? Well, half work. It's kind of confusing. Or a little more than kind of. Let's look at this again. Or let's look at let's go to widget, on widget clicked. Yeah, the output value of the gray check mark is very hard to see. I know, I'm sorry. It's like barely visible to me too. I don't know how to make that bigger. I'll try to just like, I don't know if you can see it a little bit. So just like look for a subtle difference. All right, let's look. The widget identifier is a unique identifier. This should be specified in the UI creation node, such as OGN button. OGN button. Is that this? It's not the same widget identifier though. This says light switch. And this says, oh no, they say the same thing. No, this says color. This says light toggle. Oh, no, never mind. I'm dumb. The light switch. Staring at a screen for too long and start seeing all the same stuff. So they have the same widget identifier. I'm guessing that matters. So this button, the widget identifier, we will just call button test, copy, on widget clicked, and it has the same. We'll just make sure it's the same. So now does it recognize it? No. Wait, why is it doing that? There's like a check mark and value out again. Even though my button, I'm just disconnecting everything. My button test boolean is defaulted to false. So the value out is also false. All right, they are still not checked. Let's double check. Widget identifier, the widget identifier, all the same. Okay, let's press play. Let's press this button, and it's not working. Oh, wait, no, it worked. It did. It worked. There we go. You see it? It's really hard to see, but it worked. So now if I press it again, it's off and on and off and on. Okay, I got it. And so the widget identifier has to be the same. How come I can't like plug like this? Is there like you would think there'd be like a better way. Like it has like a way to connect a widget identifier. Like is there widget identifier node? Widget identifier. Nope. Is there like a variable you can call widget identifier? No. Because that would be so much easier if I could just like plug everything in so I don't have to make sure that I type things correctly or copy paste things correctly. But that's fine. Oops. I forgot pressing delete on this doesn't work. I have to. Wait, how do I delete this? There, I can't. I'm stuck with this variable. What's this little weird window glitch? Oh well, I'm stuck with it for now. All right, let's save this. I don't need this on clicked for now. Let's move things over. So now I got my Boolean working. So when my button is clicked, it recognizes the Boolean is turned on or off. That makes me happy. Oh, it's 1:45. Perfect timing. I'm going to end it here. So what I'm going to do in the next, hour or so, I will work on getting this into a GitHub file, and so that you guys can download the USD. How can I'm going to add that to, I'll pause, hold on. Quickly talk us through why the widget identifier is critical for making this work. So what I'm guessing is happening, it is checking, this widget is checking for which widget is clicked. So if I have multiple widgets in the scene, it's looking for the widget identifier that matches the widget it wants to talk to. So if I have a button and my button is called button test, and then I have another button called button test 2, this widget wants to know which one am I looking for that's clicked. So I'm looking for button test has been clicked. So that makes sense why we need you to a widget identifier. So that's a great question to ask, Sia. Thank you. Now I'm going to add the Discord, the Omniverse Discord, which is not that one, because that's where I'm going to add the GitHub between now and next week. Because on Monday here in the United States, it is President's Day, so I will not be streaming on Monday, and then I'm going to be joining the community stream with Tanya, who was on the Valentine's Day challenge stream, and we're going to be talking about her Blender workflow. So I'm not going to stream on Monday or Wednesday of next week either. So I will not be streaming another Learn With Me until today's February 15th. I will not be streaming another Learn With Me until February 27th, which is a week from next Monday. So if you want the GitHub with this USD in the meantime, please make sure you go to the Discord, and I will be adding it there, and we'll start connecting this button to a function, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I will have a better third-person camera constraint for you within that week's time. All right, do not miss the stream, the community stream that's coming up. It's a Blender and audio to face workflow. I believe it's Julie who's coming on, and that is in about 12 minutes. Okay, see you all in a week and a half. Bye.